Hello guys and gals, and welcome back to more DML. So today I wanted to go through some of the rumours and sort of speculation that's been going on regarding the Divine ARES dragon, because I've actually been receiving quite a few messages asking about this Divine, because in the latest update, you may not have noticed, because, I mean, I never checked the shop really either, but on the info tab for the Divine dragon in the shop, it says, get this dragon through regular breeding. And so, as soon as everyone saw this, a bunch of people started losing their head, like, oh my god, what is the breeding combo? Why isn't Gameloft told us? Does anyone know what it is? Yada yada yada. But, just to put it out there so people stop asking, this dragon is not actually breedable. I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. So even though it says that in game, it is not true, because it was confirmed by ARES that it is not true, it is just a visual bug. So as much as I personally wish and really would hope that we would be able to breed this dragon, it is just not possible. And I mean the ARES dragon himself. He is one of the most defensive divine dragons you can get. He's a divine earth and metal dragon. So, if you want a defensive team, the ARES dragon is actually perfect, because he is one of the highest base defense and health dragons in the game. So, you know, although the cost is 6,500 gems, so that is like way over £150 around about, so if you think about it, if he was readily breedable, the people that had purchased him, or multiple of him, would probably be pretty pooper peeved. So, you know, it does suck, but I just wanted to address that, because quite a lot of people were like, yeah, well, it says in-game, so it's obviously not a bug, it's obviously intentional, quacks. No, it's not, I'm afraid. You know, maybe everyone's hopes were just a little bit too high. But, you know, although that is very disappointing news, because, you know, everyone and their brother wants a divine, especially, you know, players that weren't around for the special divine events. I mean, even though I don't like the Hypnos, I'm happy we got him, for example, even though overall he's not that great of a divine dragon. But, you know, we are getting new divines at some point, probably within the next few months. And so we'll probably end up getting a new breedable divine. So the two that we've had so far that have been breedable have been the Aphrodite dragon here, and the other one has been the Pangu dragon. And the Pangu we got very luckily. So if they do introduce a new breedable divine, I hope that either the time limit's a little bit longer, or the breeding pair is a little bit more, well, realistic overall, because I feel like a very large portion of the player base missed out on those divines for, you know, something that wasn't even their fault, really, because you can't really control the luck that you get outside of this extra breeding den. So maybe they'll keep it the same, and maybe that is how the breeding den, the extra breeding den, is meant to be used for special stuff like breeding divines and that. If that is actually Gameloft's, like, I don't know, logic, I can see that happening. I can definitely see that logic happening. And seriously, for the daily tasks, we have to use Dragon Fury? Oh man, that's so boring though. We'll complete a clan quest anyway. And of course in the clan quest, another one is use Dragon Fury. Are you actually taking the mick? Oh, whatever. You know, we'll just go ahead and do a whatever clan quests we can for now. You see, although the daily quests, for the most part, I'm happy that we can get new dragons out of it, doesn't mean that some of the quests are such a pain to finish. Because you get quests that you can finish within, like, literally 30 seconds, and then you have quests like that, where it takes, like, 700 hours to actually do it. So, I don't know. It's a pain in the butt, is all I know. At least the petting dragons, although it is a little bit annoying, it doesn't take all that long. Like, compare this. Compare petting a few dragons to using Dragon Fury multiple times. Which one takes less time? I mean, sure, you can waste your Dragon Fury essence, but it's just always been a pretty trash quest to get. Just like the breeding one, that's like half an hour absolute minimum if you want to do that breeding quest. And most of the time it's not as nice as that. Breed a dragon that has the water element with any other dragon? Yeah, so we're gonna have a super long breeding time for that. Ugh. Some of these clan quests. I just think it's annoying that there is such a major difference in the amount of time certain quests take. I guess that's the only way that they can force you to sort of refresh quests for the sake of doing them. But doesn't mean it's not annoying. Definitely a little bit annoying there. But, you know, just like a lot of people, like I was saying with the ARES dragon, for a second I was like, oh my god, are we gonna have to work out what the breeding combo is? Are we gonna have to, like, start playing around with random combos? Like, I think that that's what people did to find out the breeding combo for stuff like the crystal dragon and the regular breedables for, like, the wiki way back when. So, I was like, is that gonna have to happen now? Are we gonna be like the guinea pigs working out what the breeding combo is? But no. You know, to be fair, they do say, or Gameloft have said multiple times, that divines are meant to be limited time dragons only. So the fact that we even have one available in the shop at all times is, you know, I guess more than what they've actually stated. So maybe we should feel honoured that at least we have one divine that literally anyone could get at any time, if they're willing to put the money in. Would I say the ARES dragon is worth, like, hundreds of pounds? Personally, I would probably never pay more than, like, £20 for a dragon. And I only do that because, you know, I do videos on it and, you know, we have fun and stuff together. But I don't know, would I do that in any other circumstance? I'm not too sure about that. Just before I forget as well, there is currently a weekend event on Farming Fanatics, so this has the Golem Dragon as the first prize, so gather as much food as you can from any source. So if you care about the Golem Dragon, you know, go ahead and compete. I mean, I have my own Golem Dragon over here, Soil. I've always loved his name. It's so perfect, because he's like some weird mud dragon. Or like Golem, it's like earthly. So the fact that he's called Soil, I think is just perfect. But I mean, as an early game epic, he's not that bad. He's really defensive, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever use him, because I'd probably still rather use something like an Agave Dragon, because they just have more damage. Because one thing I've always said, and always probably will say, is that just having... Oh my god, we're gonna have to do manual training. Oh no. Do we have a low-level dragon? Jesus, we don't have low-level dragons, like, anywhere. What a pain. Now we can train this guy up, actually. This is fine. But like I was saying, one thing I've always said is that just having higher damage dragons works out better than having more defensive dragons on average, because if you can just one-shot an opponent dragon, then immediately the fight becomes a 3v2. And obviously, if you've got the upper hand on dragon numbers, you're more than likely going to win. Unless their dragons are just, like, exponentially a much higher level than you. But if we're, like, talking about an evenly leveled team, everything's the same, everything is equal. Oh wait, we have to claim that first to then go back to the daily quest. Ugh. But that's how I've always made our teams. And it seems like a lot of people in, like, the very late game also seem to feel similarly about that, because, I mean, how many people do you see with Tai Zenrins and, like, sumo dragons? It was what the old one used to be, Chang dragons, and, plushy furnaces, pixels, you know, all of those super high damage dragons. It's actually pretty rare to find a really defensive team. So, I feel like most people do tend to agree that just having really high damage dragons is normally better. And that's purely because in this game you always attack first, which means you can also use clan dragon powers to help you out, and if you just have a high damage dragon, you are guaranteed to one-shot an enemy dragon. And who wouldn't want to do that? I mean, why not? Instead of sitting there and doing a long, arduous, boring fight, every fight with defensive dragons, you know, wouldn't you rather just come into a fight with a lantern dragon, for example, and just one-shot everything? I mean, if you do that, you finish quests quicker, which means you get more rewards in the long run. Because you have to spend less time in-game actually doing stuff to get the same amount of rewards. So, you know, whether you're a lower level player or a higher level player, I will probably always say, if you're looking at dragons, look at their base stats first. And generally, you probably want at least 2 high damage dragons on a team. But you could, I think what a decent team would be a relatively high damage dragon with water, along with a dragon like the ARES as the divine. Because the main job, I guess, of divine dragons is just going to be to use their great blessing on your other team members to buff them. So technically speaking, just having an extremely defensive divine dragon as a supporter is probably better. Because they can take more shots, because they're not the one that's probably going to get blessed. It's going to be another dragon that's getting blessed. So they need to be alive for as many turns as possible. So I think the only case where I would make a split team is in the case of the ARES dragon, or a divine that is extremely defensive like him. Because I can see that actually working. Although, you know, I've never been able to try it out myself, of course, because there's no team builder in DML, or, you know, if you ever played Pokemon, there's no, like, online way to use set dragon levels to fight one another. Although, to be fair, I think that would be really, really cool, because then we'd finally be able to settle this age-old debate. But, you know, if you are looking for a defensive dragon, the ARES and, like, 1 or 2 others are probably the only defensive dragons I would ever recommend you use. Something like the Narwhal, for example, he's really good for a legendary at what he does. Metal and water does a lot for a defensive team. But the difference is, you need a really well thought out defensive team that really synergizes well for it to work. Whereas, with a really offensive team, you can just put together 3 dragons that are just really strong, and then the enemies just die. So it requires a lot less, I guess, pre-planning. And if anything changes in game, you don't really have to worry too much about the fact that, oh, maybe we won't be able to heal as well now, or, oh, why do I get one shot now? Because aggressive dragons, like, say, the Autumn, are usually going to get one shot anyway. Or close to it, if they are not blessed. And if you don't go first. But you will. So, I don't know. Just random ramblings, I guess, but I wish that there was a way to breed that ARES. And I know a lot of people were also hoping the same, but never know, we might get one in the future that's like that. Maybe we'll get a really awful, like, crappy divine that's really bad, but they'll make it breedable. In which case, you know, I wouldn't even be that angry. Because just giving people a divine to use, I think, is the main thing that people want. Because, for example, if during the divine event, like, say the next one that's coming up, what if you go on holiday for a few weeks, and you're not here for any of the divine event? Then it's like, oh well, too bad, you can't play the game, it's your own fault. Which, to be fair, is sort of true, but it feels kind of unfair to penalise people for something like that. Like, of course, limited time events are a thing for anywhere. Like, if you go to a... Like, I'm planning on doing this later, in fact. Like, I'm gonna go to the shop in, like, half an hour or so, because it's nearly 9 PM. And the later you go in the day, the more stuff is on sale, because it's closer to its use-by date. So, if you think about it like that, it's like, if you're just around at the right times, you get special deals and bonuses. But I like to avoid that in video games as much as possible, personally. Because, especially if video games are meant to be more competitive, air quotes, you don't really want to be giving certain people unfair advantages just for, you know, being around at a certain time. Although this isn't a competitive game itself, so I can't really complain that much, but... you know, that's sort of how I feel about it, but... I guess if you're not going to be around during the next Divine event, maybe something comes up. I do feel bad for you. I really do, because... God knows, you know, every Divine event we've gotten a new strongest dragon in the game, air quotes, because they just keep one-upping themselves. So maybe we will actually get something stronger in the next Divine event. Although I think that's like near impossible now, isn't it? Because we already have the Tai Zenrin and the Chang. Because technically the Chang has like the highest base stat that you can get. Or it's like 1 point off. I can't remember if it's exactly or if it's 1 point off because of its element combo. But how do you get better than the Tai Zenrin? For like a split between health and damage. I think genuinely the only thing that could be super great about this next Divine event is if one of the Divines was a Divine Shadow Plant. I think that's like the only remaining combo of elements that I really even care about. Because, well, Divine Shadow Fire, that would just one-up the Furnace as well. So I guess they could do that, but then it'd be like, well, what's the point of having the Furnace or Plushie on a team anymore? So, it's tough. It's a tough choice to make, and I guess we'll find out at the time what happens. You know, I've just been sitting here doing all of these quests. I know that the actual quest that we needed to do was Dragon Fury, but do I really have to sit there and do my Dragon Fury 4 times? Like, I would rather just get all the resources from doing this. Genuinely, I would. And because I haven't been doing any heroic mode fights, we have so many of these. So this is definitely almost going to get us up to our next level very soon. And you know what that means? We're going to get 3 new habitat spots. Oh, thank goodness. I mean, eventually we do need to rehatch the 2 clan dragons that I sold. Because to make room for some of the new dragons that have come out, or that we've actually gotten, I've had to sell a couple of my clan dragons. Because I know that they're probably not going to be used for breeding for any reason. And I have multiple copies of them. So I can sell those and then just take more out of my inventory. But it still feels pretty bad. Because why should I have to sit there and sell dragons that I own just to make more room? Because I don't have a single duplicate apart from the Firefly dragon. That is it. So what am I supposed to do? I can't afford the 100 million for the Dragon Vault all the time. So we just have to sit here and take weeks to level up to eventually get 3 slots. Or if we need more room for legendaries or divines, we can only have 2 slots. Oh god, just thinking about the new Divine event, I've completely forgotten. If we do get a new Divine event, that means we are gonna need more Divine habitats. Oh no. I hope before then we do get an event that gives us those weird tokens to increase the amount of space we can have in our habitats. Gameloft, please. That is my personal request. To please, before the next Divine event, make the 9th of July event the event that gives us those tokens to increase our habitat space numbers. Please. Please. Oh no, don't even want to think about it. Why have I reminded myself? Well, I guess there's no point in denying it. You know, it's not something that we can avoid. Eventually, we do need the space. Oh, that's so annoying. But there we go. We got these rewards from that Farming Fanatic event. So, it's always worth participating in events just to get bonus stuff like that. And by the way, the new Whale Mart is out, if you didn't notice. And this Whale Mart in particular is garbage. This Whale Mart is hot trash. Like, I don't know if they just randomized what stuff appears in this Mart this week, but none of these deals, apart from the Dragon Piece tickets, are good. The Dragon Piece tickets, 3 for 250,000 gold, that is good. But cherry trees for 10 scrolls, well, you know, I guess it's fine, but it's only a decoration. But the light habitat for gems, hot garbage. 50 scrolls and 10 excellent materials for 45 gems, hot garbage. 375,000 food for 99 gems, awful. Like, normally I try and see the positives in the Mart, but that is just a bad set of deals apart from those Dragon Piece tickets this week. And I checked the same on my other account as well. It's just not been good. So, I'm not sure what the deal is. It's like, with the Mart, it's sort of like a 50-50. It's like we have a good week, then we have an utterly garbage week. So maybe that's just the trend. It's like, put out any deals, see if the gullible and, I don't know, maybe not as knowledgeable people go and waste their gems on the deals or something. But that seems to be the viewpoint to me, at the very least. Actually, we've got some food, so let's feed up Ander. And that is going to push him up to level 50. Not bad. So, we've only got 30 levels left to go. Only 30. Oh god, it's going to be a long, arduous process with him. And we'll pop him in, upgrade his energy element before we leave for today. So, actually, I've been going for a lot longer than we normally do. So, I guess enjoy the longer episode for today. But, you know, like I always say, whenever we find out new stuff, I'll be here to let you know what is going on. If there's any rumours or that a lot of people seem to be talking about, if we find out the answer, I'll also be here to let you know, because I don't like spreading misinformation about the game. It's like how when people used to say, yeah, well, they say that breeding is affected by levels, but it's obviously not. We know for a fact that it is. But I guess it's just one of those things. People question everything about this game now. Especially if you get visual bugs as major as that, I guess there is a good reason for it. But, like I said, for now, thank you very much for joining me in DML. I hope I can see you soon.